before the unsaved and not before the Beit Din of the Israelite Kedoshim. So there are certain matters of behavior that are being set down in a community, in the Nazarene community. Number one, no court brother against brother. Stay out of the secular courts.
Amen.
Are you with me?
Amen.
Stay out of the secular courts. Verse 2. Do you not, well, would that not include divorce?
Yes.
If you stay out of the secular courts, you cannot get divorced in a secular court, and you cannot get married in a secular court. Oh, revelation, glory! It's hitting me right now.
Thank you.
Stay out of court. The only time you go to a secular court is if you're subpoenaed, and if you don't answer the subpoena, they put Israelite toches in Israelite can.
Exactly, a bench warrant.
Alright? But other than a bench warrant to put toches in can, you don't go to a secular court to do kingdom business. Turn to your neighbor and say kingdom business. Verse 2. Now you know, Israelite Kedoshim, you shall judge the Olam Hazeh. Korinthi Aleph 6:2. And if you will judge the entire world, the Olam Hazeh, are you unworthy to judge who's going to make the coffee? Who's going to take out the garbage? Somebody's making phone calls, disturbing the peace of the sheep. You don't know how to deal with that. Baby, immature baby. You don't know how to deal with it. You're going to be judging the entire world. And you can't settle a matter in the congregation. One way to settle things is to leave. Some people do that. But if you're going to judge the world, I don't see us leaving the world, because if we leave the world, what can we do?
How can you judge it?
We cannot judge the upcoming what? Olam Haba. When we rule and reign with what? Yeshua HaShofet. Don't you know, verse 3, not only are going to be judge, we're going to be judges on the thrones of Israel, under the 12 tribes. We're also going to judge the heavenly Melachim, verse 3. We're going to be judging the kingdom matters. We're going to be judging heavenly Melachim for their behavior and their obedience to Yahuwah. That blows my mind. How much more things that pertain to this Chaim? You and I are going to have the authority to tell Melachim that their motive wasn't right, that their obedience wasn't right, that their obedience was right. And when it comes to, he said, she said, this one didn't say hello to me, this one ignored me, this one didn't say hi to me, small, stupid stuff, little matters. You're going to be judging Melachim, judging them for their obedience or their lack of obedience to Abba Yahuwah. And here it is, you can't even judge the small matters. You have no discernment. You get your teaching from the internet only. You're not submitted to a rabbi teacher. You're not planted anywhere. Read my lips, YouTubers and friends around the world. If you're not planted, you will not grow. You've got to be planted somewhere to produce the fruit by the streams of living water. It's not enough to have knowledge, because knowledge puffs up, but love edifies. And if you love him, you will keep his commandments. And part of his commandments is be submitted to a local rabbi, pastor, / shepherd / teacher. Question for you on the radio, for you in this room, for you around the world. Who is your rabbi? And don't tell me your rabbi is Jesus and he's on your skirt and on your shirt because of a dream, and you're not washing your clothes until he tells you to. You're not under submission. You're out of your mind.
Crazy. Yeah.
Okay? You're not under. You're out.
Out.
I had one lady tell me she wasn't changing clothes because Jesus attached himself to her dress.
What? Meshuga. Totally.
So needless to say, we had a problem with stink. Because many weeks she kept coming with the same dress. She refused to wash her clothes.
Wow.
Then I had another clown who wanted to celebrate Purim with us. Okay? And he was a man, he was attending all the services, but he was scheduled for a sex change operation. And then he wanted to come to Purim as Carol. I said, you're not coming to Purim. His name was Carl or whatever his name was, and he wanted to come after the operation as Carol. And then I even did a message about him. It was called Those Were the God Days, when I didn't know Yahuwah's name. It was called God's Problem with Carol.
I remember that. I remember that message.
Oh.
You remember that?
Yes, I do actually.
You might have retarded.
God's problem with Carol. Problem is you're not Carl, go home, go to the hospital for a sex change operation, put on a pair of pantyhose and high heels, and show up in the congregation as Carol. Sorry, you're not celebrating Purim with us.
We never saw him again.
Good.
Verse 3, don't you know that we shall judge heavenly malachim? How much more things that pertain to this chayim? If then you have mishpatim, to render judgments, in things pertaining to your life on earth, this chayim, why then do you appoint as judges or elders in the Beit Din, or among the house of judges, in each congregation, the elders? Why are there elders or judges who are elders in the ruling or eldership council, who are the least esteemed, who are babies and immature, take your pick, in Torah? Is it because you don't want people who are mature to speak into your life? You want to be fellowship with people who make you comfortable, as opposed to people who can help raise you up in maturity in Torah.
Tell us easy things.
Ear ticklers. In other words, why are there people in the congregation? Why are the Indians running the camp? Why are those who are maybe the friendliest but not the most mature, why are the wrong people making decisions? Death knell to any congregation. Wrong people making decisions.
Amen.
Can somebody close that door or
Yes.
do something? Verse 5, I speak this to your shame. Is there not a wise man in Torah, learned in the oracles of Yahuwah, to sit on a Beit Din? Is there not even one who will be able to judge between Israelite brothers? Now, but man, we talked about this last week. Yeshua said, don't judge. The word of Yahuwah says, judge.
Yes.
We've been taught, Yeshua said, don't judge.
Oh.
Rav Shaul says, judge.
That's it.
So who's right? Both.
Both.
We are not to judge and obey Yeshua. We are not to judge each other self-righteously or hypocritically.
Oh,
Judge
man.
each other by the same.
Oh,
We
man.
are to judge each other, especially when it comes to matters in the assembly, in the congregation, by the final court of arbitration, which is the blessed, eternal, inalterable, unchanging words of Yahuwah.
Amen.
Can I get a witness?
Amen.
We need mature
Amen.
judges who judge by what Yeshua says and don't use a different set of standards, one for the people and one for us
Uh-oh.
as leaders.
Right.
Man.
That we are, us as leaders, as elders in the Beit Din and in the council of eldership, judges, are to be judged by the same standard that you are to be judged with, because we are to judge each other fairly and we are to judge each other equitably. Can I get a witness?
Amen.
But Yeshua said, judge not that you be not judged, meaning don't judge by your feelings and by your emotions. Don't judge, I like him, I don't like him. Who cares what you like? Is he kadosh? Is he living kadosh? Is he setting apart? Is he living for Yahuwah? Is he pleasing Yahuwah? Is he serving Yahuwah? Who cares what you like him, don't like him, feel good around him, feel uncomfortable? It has nothing to do. We are to judge by one set of standards, which is always the final court of arbitration, which is the blessed words of Yahuwah. In other words, you better not be judging Darrell differently than you're judging me. You better not be judging Wilbur differently than you're judging Chris. You better be using the same standard of judgment. Your feelings, your views, your opinions, and your understanding of history and desegregation, or American history, segregation, civil rights, Civil War, Napoleonic Wars, the Homer Wars, the Iliad and the Odyssey. None of those things come into play.
Oh, man.
Your Greek education, your multicultural background, your pluralistic leanings and understandings of a civilized society, none of those things come into play. This is a final and only court of arbitration.
Man.
That's it.
Yahuwah says, I speak this to your shame.
Oh, man.
Isn't there a few that can judge equitably among the brethren,
Oh, man.
using one single final court of arbitration?